By the end of this month, your employer will be required to tell you more about the cost of your 401k. So this is an especially good time to review those all-important retirement plans. Jack Otter, executive editor of CBS MoneyWatch.com, is here with 5 things we need to know about them. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So where do we start?
Well, with these fees, the fees are notoriously high in 401ks. And so soon we'll be finding out what we're actually paying. And I know this sounds like one of those HR emails that is really boring and you want to get rid of it. But this is important stuff. There's $3 trillion in these plans, and a lot of it is going to be eaten away by fees, especially in a low-return world where bonds are yielding nothing, stocks haven't been doing much for you. And in some cases, you know, companies are actually getting kickbacks, fully legal kickbacks, but still kickbacks from the mutual fund company. The hope is that by shedding light on this, companies will be shamed into lowering fees.
Is this the first time that they've had to share the fees with us? This has never happened before?
Well, there's 2 components to the fees. One is what the mutual fund charges, the so-called expense ratio. And you've been able to find that out usually by digging, but what the company charges in administrative fees, that has usually been in the dark. So it's good that we're finally finding this out.
And so what do? You find out your percentage and then figure out what's best for you.
Well, first of all, the golden rule is the lower, the better.
Right.
Yes.
It's extraordinary how much it costs investors to pay in fees. When I was writing my book, I looked at, say, an average couple. I gave them each $50,000 coming into the marriage at age 30, and I thought, just to make it simple, they're going to put nothing more in their 401k after age 30. So they have 100 grand, leave it in there till age 65. At 1.3 percentage points, which is the average mutual fund expense ratio, they would retire with $900 and something thousand. Not bad.
Not bad at
Give
all.
them an index fund.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Give
Not bad
them
at all, Jack.
Give them an index fund with a rock bottom rate. My lowest fund at the time was 0.07%. $1.4 million was their retirement nest egg.
No coup.
The only difference was that expense ratio.
Okay, tell me one more time what an index fund is.
Sure, very important. So there's 2 kinds of mutual funds. An actively managed fund where a manager tries to say, okay, these are the best stocks, these are the best bonds, I'm going to own those. An index fund is passive. It's just we're going to own all the stocks in a given market. We're going to own all the bonds in a given market. So the human tendency is to say, I want the one where the guy picks the best. The problem is that very rarely does he actually perform the best. First of all, it's extremely hard to do this. Warren Buffett can do it. Most people can't.
Yes, yeah.
Second of all, as we said, it costs more.
Just as simple as the idea that most people can't beat the Standard & Poor's index.
Exactly. In fact, I just saw a statistic that since 2003, hedge funds have lagged the S&P 500 as well as a mix of stocks and bonds every single year since 03.
We always hear diversify, diversify, diversify. So how do you make sure your portfolio is okay?
Sure. Well, I created something called the no-brainer portfolio.
Like that.
I'm not the only one to use this, but you could even be as simple as just taking the Vanguard Total World Index Fund for your stocks, 60% there, 40% in bonds. And during the so-called lost decade, that portfolio was actually up 50% because it owned everything. Fees were rock bottom, so you were automatically diversified.
And people were apprehensive about their 401ks. You say target date fund?
Yeah, this stuff can be scary, I know. So if you just don't want to pick funds and worry about this stuff, you can default to Autopilot, which is a target date fund. It owns a mix of stock and bonds that get more conservative as you age, so you just don't have to worry about it. And I think that's a really good thing to do for people who hear me talking and say, I don't want to think about that.
What is he saying? Thank you, Jack Otter. Thank you very much.
Anytime.